Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Wednesday's edition of Pre-Market Info.
Apple Massacre Day. They have digested all the news from yesterday, and the analysts have said no, they don't like it. We've got three downgrades: Credit Suisse, Bank America, and UBS, and the stock is down 19 points here in the pre-market.
Right, and opened up at 4 o'clock, just right at the close, and they took it down on a little volume. Had a little bit of consolidation at 485, probably suckered some longs in there, and then another flush down to 472.80. That's the level we're looking at is the pre-market low. Dennis, I'm the only number that I could see here. Not sure if we can get there. It's only another 4 points away. But I'm looking at the low, that 468.05 low. That was the low on the day of the
Right,
icon announcement.
right.
So we could call that the icon low. It's only missed it by 5 points there, but that's the level you have on the downside. Besides that pre-market low at 472.80.
Well, we talked about this magnet trade for the last month, how the 500 level was a magnet and the stock just can't seem to get away from it. It does look like it has resolved here this morning. It's broken down through the key 486 support to 476. So it looks like the bears are going to win this battle that's been raging for the last month at 500. It's kind of, you look at it yesterday, and it was just nothing exciting. There was nothing new. We changed the color. We did a few little technical things, but there was nothing really great about the whole about yesterday. There was just nothing exciting in the product announcements. So nothing said about Apple TV. There was just, so it's just about the iPhone, and okay, well, we tweaked it a little bit. And obviously, everybody's very disappointed.
Yeah, I stepped away from the desk during the actual announcement, and then I came back, and Brent delivered me the news, and he's like, they changed the color. And I'm like, oh, well, okay. And he goes, they changed the color. And I did digest it. Obviously, didn't turn that into a trading idea. And I guess also kind of no update on Apple TV was another thing that spooked investors here. So I'm sure a lot of people want to get dirty here and try and scoop this thing up off the open. If I was short, I definitely would look at that 472.80 level, because you got to figure it's going to have some kind of reflex rally here once the liquidity comes in.
And obviously, that 486, we had three or four lows there. So if this stock goes into rally mode for whatever reason, they're going to line up, I think, up there. So you get anywhere in the 480s, and they're probably going to start to line up because there's some people under some water here that we're betting on. I mean, there was a lot of bets placed in that 500 area. It consolidated there for basically a month. It was the bulls versus the bears, and those bulls, those guys that were holding the stock long above 500, are nervous right now, obviously, and they're under some serious water. So any type of rally, I think, is going to be met with some sellers. So it looks like the bears are in command here in Apple.
Yeah, and so Apple's down 20 points, and the S&Ps are down a buck. How about that?
S&P, something's always picking up the slack here. It's just the way it goes. So it's like money doesn't rotate out of stocks, it doesn't seem to anymore. It rotates into other stocks. So they'll go and they'll find some other stocks to buy here today. We'll see some other sectors that are trading higher. As they sell Apple, they'll move into something else. We can look into stocks. We've got a lot of the tech stocks actually trading a little bit down here with the Apple move. Google is slightly down in the pre-market here. Facebook was trading down earlier too. But overall, this is pretty much an Apple sell-off.
Well, just I was looking at the Google chart. Nice move off the 848 level, 850 level, major support. 1, 2, 3, we had 6 up days in a row. Just to alert traders here. I mean, this last few days have had tighter ranges here. 8 point range yesterday, roughly the same yesterday. So, sellers are starting to come in here. A little bit of consolidation in the ranges. I'd say below 882.42. That's a 2-day low. Google may get back some of this move.
Looking at Facebook as well, we didn't quite get to the 45 2 days ago. We got up, we were trading at 44.26 as high as we did yesterday, and we pulled back again here. Maybe we don't see that 45. It sniffed up there to get really close to 44.79, but if anybody did buy it up at 45 when the thing IPO'd, they still haven't had a chance to scratch it.
Right. With broke down yesterday, went to 43.23. It took out yesterday's low and rebounded 40 cents, trading down in the pre-market here. Maybe a little bit of a, if you want to go a very short-term head and shoulders here, that's kind of begging the question there. But next support level I see below this 43.23 is 42.40, and that's another 80 cents away. That was your low last Friday.
Let's go on to the loser stock of the day here. You'd think it's Apple. It's actually OVAS. That's the stock that's down the most on my list right now. It's down a cool 40% here. O Victor Alpha Simon. So
Okay.
I know you don't know this company. Ova Science. It's a little $250 million company, and they
It
have
was a $250 million
It was a
company.
$250 million. It was about $150 million company now. Suspend enrollment of Augment, their new fertility drug in the U.S. So obviously that's knocking the stock down seriously here in the pre-market to lows we have not seen. I don't know if we've ever seen these lows. This stock hasn't been out here that long. It's got as low as $8. It looks like in the pre-market. It's trading at 8.55 right now, but down a cool 40%.
Yeah, usually when I just like when you're mentioning these stocks, you know it's going to have a science or a med or something
Yeah.
in it. These biotech stocks. You did hit the $8 level here, getting a slight bounce in the pre-market. Someone is throwing around some shares here at $8 level. I see a big print of 18,000 shares. So eight's the level to look at, and then if you go longer term on this thing, I'm not sure how long this thing's been trading, but
If you go back
it's
in
just
April, we were down a little bit lower, so we have been lower than
we were
this.
below 8 in April here. Let me take a look
Take a little
at the
further.
weekly. Um, hmm.
Yeah,
I'll take
May.
your word for it. I'm not even seeing it on the
Yeah,
month. I'm
I don't know.
going back a little bit.
I've got a few ticks below 8, but basically we're getting down to where this thing was at the beginning of the year, and it's not looking pretty. It's had some pretty good run here, and obviously this news is really knocking the stock back here. And I'd keep an eye on that $8. I mean, that's where it's hitting the pre-market. It looks like that's where we found some support before, so maybe we can find some at $8.
40% that it's down. I mean, I'm not. It could be a little overdone.
Restoration Hardware also reported earnings here this morning, or actually last night, and they were looked okay. 49 cents versus 43, and revenue 382 million versus 377 million. But they are knocking the stock down. This stock has been on an absolute tear, though. It was a $40 stock back in May. It's basically doubled since then. So I guess when you don't blow it right out of the water there. They're going to sell it off, and that's what they're doing here this morning. It's down $2.20 right now at 73.82.
Someone must have misread that report as it spiked up to
Come on,
$80.
news
That's what I'm
algo's still going crazy, eh? There, Joel. $80. Wow.
right. Yep. And then the swoon took you down to 72.33 is where you found some support. Gotten a little bounce up to 75 here. So those are your early parameters. 72.33 pre-market low. 75 has been the high of the rebound. Take a look at this in the perspective of the daily charts. It's just been a slow, steady march up, and now we're coming down. We did have two lows, right, the $75 level. We came smashing through those. Keep an eye, pre-market low, and then below that, Dennis, looks like there's quite a bit of support at the $70 level. We had a few tops there, so maybe that former resistance will be good support.
UBS very active here this morning. They downgraded Apple, as we said earlier, but they have made moves on a lot of other stocks, starting with Morgan Stanley. They just upgraded that this morning, and Morgan Stanley is trading higher. And Morgan Stanley quietly just made a new 52-week high and multi-year high here, actually yesterday. Obviously, UBS liking that breakout, and they are upgrading Morgan Stanley.
Yep, 28.46 is your pop in the pre-market. That takes you way above yesterday's high, which was 28.15. 28 was the level on that until yesterday. It had some tops back in early August, and then it snuck through there yesterday. 28.45 high. We're only 15 cents away here from filling the gap, so I think this upgrade could carry some weight as long as Morgan Stanley holds that $28 level.
UBS upgrading MAR as well, which is Marriott International. Hotels are hot right now. Stocks bid up 50 cents at 42.09. It's just ticked to 42.05. That's about the only trade I can see. So it looks like it's going to open up over 42 on Marriott.
Right, not much volume here. You did have several tops here at the 41.50, 41.70 level. Yesterday we took that out, closed right near the high of the day. Really, don't see a lot in the 42 handle, Dennis, until you get to 42.38. So we'll call that your first resistance point. Coming back on the downside, there'll be now good support at yesterday's high, 41.69. And that's supported by several other tops in the issue back in August.
UBS downgrading Apache, which is APA. That stock actually just made a new 52, or came close to making a new 52-week high. Actually, it did yesterday at 87.76. So, but they're fading this one, and they're saying it's overdone. And the stock is offered down right now at 86.57. Tick to 86.93, but 86.57 is where it's offered right now. So it looks like it's going to open a bit lower.
Yeah, this is, they had the news, I believe they sold an asset or,
the
one
gap,
of their investments. Yeah, and they got the gap, and I was kind of wrong about fading that gap there. It just kept on going. I remember we were talking
Gap
about
and
that
go.
one. Yeah, now you get the downgrade here. I mean, theoretically, it's opening into support. Yesterday's low was 86.85. So see if they can, hold that level in the pre-market.
Well, I'll take
If
that
not,
out. $87 stock. I think it opens probably at 86, just because usually a UBS upgrade or downgrade will carry a 1 to 2% move. So if you figure 87 cents, probably about a buck and a half if it's going 1 to 2%. So that would put it around $86. I think it'll open at least down there.
really?
Yeah. Oh
Okay,
yeah.
well,
Apache. It's a bit of a mover. I'd be shocked if we don't see $86 on this thing today.
okay.
It's
Well,
offered 86.47, and nobody's even sniffing him. 82.13 is the best bid, so you're a long ways down from the best bid. But I think you're going to probably see it open up, maybe even below 86.
okay. Well, then you're going to be opening up into support again, taking out the 86.85. And that will be resistance, yesterday's low. After the big run up, you had a pause and three lows between 85.76 and 86.01. So that's your support level. Opening into that, if it does not hold there, you got another buck move down to 84.50.
You got BlackRock also getting downgraded at UBS. Like I said, UBS very active this morning, and it's trading down about a buck and a half on the downgrade. Offered at 264.80. These $200 stocks are always tough to trade. You've got a double bottom if you go down that whole 260 area. That's still 4 points away from here, and it's bid up at 264.01. So I'm not sure if we can get down to there, but there's definitely some support if you get down to the 260 level.
Yep, gap up and gap down, huh? On the downgrade here, 265.13 was yesterday's low. We have not. Let's see how low we've gotten in the pre-market here. Not a lot of trades here, but I'll be looking at that level. If it doesn't hold 265.13, boy, you just got some air to fill in that issue. Going back down to fill the gap here. Fill the top of the gap is at 263.14, so that could be one objective on the downside, and the other is those two lows, 259.42 and 89, the lows from Friday and Monday.
Conagra bouncing back a little bit here this morning. CAG. They are getting upgraded at Goldman Sachs. They had the terrible day yesterday where they issued their full year for 2014 warning, and that really knocked the stock down. Well, Goldman Sachs is saying this is just getting some good value here, good value pickup, and obviously the stock is trading higher on the Goldman Sachs upgrade. It's up 30 cents, Joel.
Yeah, they really shellacked that thing yesterday for a pretty high volume stock too. Kind of opened up and just took a dive here. Had not been able to get it back up to that 32.50. That was yesterday's high. Use that as a resistance point, and then above that you have the gap to fill. But still 70, 80 cents away from yesterday's high, and now you've come a buck off the low, that 30.64 low, and you have the Goldman upgrade. I expect bidders to start stepping in and lower 31s, 31, and of course or all the way down to this 30.64 low.
Procter Gamble getting downgraded at SunTrust Robinson. That stock is trading down at 77.5 right now, closed at 77.95. So looks like PG is going to give back some of its. Well, it was up yesterday, but it looks like it's going to continue to pull back here today, trading in the mid 77s.
Okay, we are trading through, well, yesterday's low already in the session, which was 77.78. Use that as a resistance point. Minor support, the 2-day low, 77.37. And then after that, you definitely could slip under 77 here to the 76.40 level.
Just one other stock I want to talk about. International Paper here last night issued a $1.5 billion stock buyback, also raising the quarterly dividend from 30 cents to up to 35 cents. That stock was ticking a lot higher after hours, actually got over $50. It's not quite up as much this morning. There's been really no trades here this morning. It is bid at 49.5. Offered up at 49.97. I will tell you, $50 is still absolutely enormous on this stock. We got up to 49.96 yesterday. I can see about 50,000 shares offering the stock at 50 in the book. So $50 is still a big level for IP to take out. So it's probably going to open up into some resistance.
Yeah, 50.10 pre-market high. Looking at the daily charts, you did have that high from yesterday, right near that level. This could be, one of the things where it bumps, takes out that 50 seller, goes up another, 10, 20 cents. You have the former, you got the high at 50.33, going back to July 25th. So, if it opens up above 50, comes back down below it, you have a ways to go to get down to the close at 49.27.
Well, what do you think on this overall market here, Joe? We've obviously got Apple, just updating you there. It's at 274, but the S&P futures, like you said, are holding up very well here. We're only down 2 points. So despite Apple being down 20 points, it's not taking the overall market down with it. The S&P futures holding up pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, potential double top. Yesterday's high was 1683 and a quarter. 1684 has been the pre-market high, so I think you need to get up and clear that area. First 10, 15 minutes of trading to get back into the 1690s. There's no major resistance after that, but it seems like sellers are coming in this mid 1680 handle. Coming on the downside, 79.75. We're only trading 50 cents above that. That's a have nothing there. 76.75 was an intraday low from yesterday, so that'll be my first support point below 76.75. Things open up perhaps down to 16.70.
That's our show for today, guys. Have a great trading day. Back at you tomorrow morning.